Hello and welcome to the computer learning channel by Accelerate Computer Systems. My name is Arun and I will be the trainer for you today. On this channel, our goal is to explain technical concepts in a very easy to understand language and give more examples and visuals so that you can learn better. In fact, for me, if I see things, I learn better. So this is our effort while making these videos. And we are also going to keep the videos short. We don't want to pack in a lot of information, which is sometimes difficult to understand. All right, so with that objective in mind, let's start our journey into networking. We have already talked about the ones and zeros in computer. Note that each of these ones and zeros are called a bit, and 8 bits they make a byte, which is the basic unit that the computer works with. It means that the computers, they will always process 1 byte of data as 1 unit. If you have not watched our videos on what is actually a 1 or a 0, then I will highly recommend that you watch it first, because this is the very foundation of computing. Networking itself is a very important concept and very vast, and it includes some very technical and challenging terms. We will work on those concepts and terms one by one. But before we go deep into it, today we will just try to understand what is networking and why we need it. So let's start with the very basic. Now, if you're working on a Word or an Excel document or any other application on your computer or desktop, and you don't need to send the document to anybody, you technically don't need networking except for updating softwares. You don't need to be connected to computers, right? And let's say if you still want to transfer some files, you can move around these files by copying them onto the USB and then transferring these to another computer. But if you want to interact with people from around the world via email, chat, video chat, or if you want to visit a website or want to access different files on the cloud, for example, OneDrive or Dropbox, then you need to be able to connect to the remote device, which can either be a computer or a server. And this is when networking comes into picture. Networking refers to a process of being able to connect to computers or servers that are placed at different locations. It can be within the same building, same city, different city, or a different country altogether. Now, this poses a big challenge for computers. How to identify another computer or the destination computer to which the information needs to be sent, or from where the information needs to be collected? There are billions of devices connected to internet. Now, how is it possible to find that specific device we want to connect to? That's a big challenge, right? Now, when I'm trying to visit a website which is hosted in another country, how does my computer find out which server in the world has the website when there are millions of servers located across the world? And this is where domain name system, MAC address, and IP address, they come into picture. Let's talk about these today. This is my favorite topic. Networking is my favorite topic, and I will try to keep it as simple as possible, because understanding networking is really important today, considering that we have Internet of Things, which means we have household appliances which are connected to internet. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with the device itself. Every single internet-enabled device has a unique MAC address or media access control address. This is unique across the world. This means that there are no duplicate MAC addresses. This address is written in hexadecimal, and it has a length of 48 bits. We will learn later about hexadecimal. For now, let's consider hexadecimal as a combination of numbers and letters. And every internet-enabled device has been assigned this number. Now, the first half of this number, which is the first 24 characters, is assigned to the manufacturer, which means that this is unique for every manufacturer. Remaining half is assigned to the device, and the combination of both, it gives us a unique address for all the devices. For the sake of ease of understanding, let's assume that all the devices shown here have been manufactured by one company. In this case, the first half of the MAC address will be same for all these devices. The remaining half will be different for all of them, and this will give us a MAC address which is unique. Now the question is MAC address enough for computers to be able to find the correct destination computer or server? Well, if your computer has to check billions of devices to find out the correct destination computer, then that's a lot of work. Plus, these devices may also move from one place to another. Now, this is why computers, they use IP address or Internet Protocol address to find out the correct device, the correct destination device. Technically, they use a combination of MAC address and IP address to find the destination device. Let's talk about this IP address next. But before going into IP address, let me show you how you can find IP address and MAC address of your computer. On your computer, search for CMD and open command prompt. Type ipconfig, press enter, and you will see some information about your computer like IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, etc. If you want to get more information, you can type ipconfig/all, and this will give you more information about your computer like Wi-Fi adapter. This will also give you information about the MAC address or physical address of your computer. Now this physical address is the MAC address of your computer. At this point, I would like to highlight that IP address is the address assigned to your device, whereas default gateway address indicates the IP address of the router where all those packets are sent for which the destination device is not known. For example, if you're looking for a website like google.com, we know that this website is not located on any of the internal servers or computers within your house. In such a case, the request will be sent to the default gateway, and then it is the job of the default gateway to find out where to send the packet. Now that we know how to find out our MAC address of the computer, let's have a look at the role of an IP address or an Internet Protocol address in finding the right destination device. There are two types of IP addresses that are in use right now, IPv4 and IPv6. We will discuss both in a later session and in detail because that itself is a big topic. Just know that IPv4 is 32 bits long and IPv6 is 128 bits long. For now, let's focus on the logic as to how the source computer is able to search for the correct destination device. Here are the IP addresses that I have given to different computers. IP addressing can be complicated, and hence I have given some random IP addresses here for the purpose of illustration. There are devices called routers whose job it is to find out which IP address may be located in which part of the world. If we talk about our homes, when we are talking about when we are trying to access a website, the home router by default sends out the request to our internet service provider. The ISP or internet service provider has a router that knows or can find out the location of destination or server, or knows to which router it needs to send the request to get the required information. All these routers have the ability to keep map or a list of other routers to help them route the traffic to the destination. Let's see an example of how information or data is forwarded. Let's assume that Tom, sitting in Canada, wants to send a file to Michael, who's in India. Now, in this example, I have given IP address and MAC addresses for every device as it happens in a real life scenario. The buildings in orange, they represent ISPs or the routing points that play a crucial role in forwarding data to its destination. Note that the MAC addresses are of 48 hexadecimal value. The ones I have used are just example. You may not see these MAC addresses in a real world scenario. The information or data is sent from Tom's computer to his ISP or internet service provider. This information will include source IP address, which is Tom's IP 192.168.1.1, and destination IP address, which is Michael's IP, which is 192.168.1.3. Source MAC address, which is Tom's computer, that's aa.aa.aa.aa, and the destination MAC address, though, it will be that of the ISP's MAC address, which is bb.bb.bb.bb. Your ISP is not directly connected to Michael's computer, but it knows that it needs to send the information to ISP B. It sends this data to ISP B. Source and destination IP addresses, they remain same, but this time the ISP A puts source MAC address as its own MAC address, which is bb.bb.bb.bb, and destination MAC address of ISP B, which is cc.cc.cc.cc. Likewise, the ISP B then sends the packet to ISP C with the source IP address of Tom and destination IP address of Michael, but changes the source MAC address as its own destination and then destination MAC address as that of ISP C. Finally, when ISP C sends the data to Michael, it uses the source IP address of Tom, destination IP address of Michael, its own MAC address as source, and Michael's MAC address as destination MAC address. Now, it is important to note that while data is being sent, information about which device is connected to which port gets stored on each of these routers so that it is easier to return information to Tom. Now, you might be wondering, how does the information about source and destination MAC and IP address actually look when it is being sent? This information is sent under headers. We can check this information on Wireshark, which is packet sniffing tool. So in other words, it can read information that you send and then it can show you in text. So let's have a look. This is just a screenshot. Here's the screenshot from Wireshark. There are three sections that you see. On top, you can see all the traffic that is captured. In the middle section, you can see the human readable information inside a package, which includes headers, data, etc. And the section below, it shows the same information as in the middle section, but in bits and bytes as sent out by the computers. Let's have a look at the middle section that we can read easily. We should first look at Ethernet, which shows the source and destination MAC address. Look at the Internet Protocol IP, which shows source and destination IP address. We can see a lot of other information. We'll explore Wireshark in one of the future videos, so don't worry. I wanted to show you how this information looks when transmitted over wire. There's another point I wanted to highlight. This information you are looking might be getting transmitted over Wi-Fi or wire. As you can see, there are software that can read information. When you are sending information that can be captured and clearly read by these softwares, it is considered to be a plain text. This is the reason we say that sending information over Wi-Fi is not secure, because this information can be read by people who have access, who can see your connection or can connect to your Wi-Fi. And this is where encryption comes into play. We'll talk about security in future videos. That's a very vast topic in itself. Just wanted to clarify what is a plain text, because many times you will hear this word in the context of computer security. Now, networking is a very vast topic and covers a lot of other subtopics. It is my favorite topic, and I'm always keen to learn how computers they talk to each other and exchange information and data. I hope this video helped you understand and learn about networking, the very basics. We'll talk about other networking related topics very soon. If you found the video helpful, do share it with your friends and family, and consider subscribing so that you get notified about new videos that I post on this channel. I am trying to create videos that are easy to understand, and they cover some very crucial concepts in easy language. Accelerate works with students and startups in Canada and provides them access to high performance but low cost computing devices, primarily Dell, starting at just $400. If you want to know more, send an email to us today. Thank you so much for learning with me today. I will see you in the next video. Until then, happy learning.